Good afternoon. My name is Vanessa, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the Social Media Monday Ning and Blog conference call. All lines will remain open throughout the conference. If you would like to mute your line, you may do so by pressing star 6 on your telephone keypad. If you wish to speak, please press star 6 again to unmute your line. Thank you. I will now turn the call over to your hostess, Ms. Suzanne Knisner. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Vanessa. Hi, everybody. This is Suzanne. I want to thank you for joining us for the Ning and Blog event. I can hear everybody muting their lines by pressing star 6, which is great, because that's the first thing I am going to ask you all to do. We do like to keep the line open, but individual lines can be muted, and we do ask that you do not put us on hold, because while your background music is lovely, we don't want it as part of our presentation today. Before we get started, I do want to go over some of the nitty-gritty. If for some reason you are disconnected from either the phone or the online event, please just log in or call back as you did when you got with us, and you'll be reconnected without a problem. As you know, star 6 will mute your line as well as unmute your line. We will be having a Q&A session later on this afternoon, and we will remind you of that so that you can participate. Finally, we want to let you know that this event is being recorded and will be available on the Vista Campus Social Media Monday landing page, as well as all links will be available at the end of this presentation. Thank you again for joining us. I'm going to turn the mic over to Michelle Bond.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. And again, welcome everyone. We're really excited to have so many of you with us for this Social Media Monday web shop on Ning and Blogs. And with us today, we also have Elizabeth Matthews of Vista Outreach at the corporation, Danielle Rex, who is our social media specialist here at Campaign Consultation. We also have Stephanie Ross, who is the e-specialist here at Campaign Consultation. And we'll also be hearing from a Vista alum and a Vista later on in today's session as well. So, again, I'd like to thank all of the presenters and guests for being with us today, and just turn it over to Elizabeth Matthews from the corporation.
Great. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to join us for this call. Hopefully everybody will walk away learning a little bit more about what Ning is and how you can use it in your time as a Vista volunteer, and take that information with you to your next job. And then as well, I think we're all a little bit more familiar with blogs and how they work, but this will be a great refresher, and also perhaps diving into a little bit more detail on that. So I just want to thank our presenters and thank everybody for being here, and take it away.
All right. Thanks, Liz. And as many of you know, I see a lot of familiar names out there, but we really appreciate you attending with us again. And for those of you who are new to Social Media Monday, just to give you a brief overview of what we try to do each month, usually at the last Monday of the month, we pull together the national service community, primarily Vistas and Vista alums, but certainly anyone is welcome, to go over some of the most current applications out there on the web today, and really try to apply some hands-on skills that you can take away right away and begin doing in your communities and with your organizations. Wherever possible, we try to get folks who are using these tools themselves to do the work that you're trying to do. So in many cases, Vistas and Vista alums, as I've mentioned before, and also technology experts. So we really hope that you find them beneficial, and as always, we'll ask for your feedback later in the session, but feel free to use the chat as we go along and use the knowledge that you all have to answer one another's questions, and ready to get started. So we'll just turn it over to Danielle Ricks.
Thanks so much, Michelle. Today's agenda, we're going to go over why Ning and blogs. And as Liz said, many of you are probably very familiar with blogs, but we're going to talk about some ways to
Do we
use
have a
them
blog?
in your service. I'm sorry?
A blog. No?
Oh, I'm sorry. We can hear you talking. If you wouldn't mind muting your phone, whoever's...
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's quite all right. If you wouldn't mind muting your phone. Okay, so we're going to continue on. We're not sure if that person has a blog, and if they don't, we're going to tell them how they can set up one, and if they do, we're going to tell them how to use it in their service. So hopefully they do have one, and if not, they are in the right web shop. Then we're going to do an introduction of guests after that. And we'll talk about getting started on your Ning. I know there's some people aren't exactly sure how to use it, so we're going to talk about that and how to use your blog. And then what information to share between the two platforms, and we will leave time for questions and answers at the end. And so right now I want to turn it over to Michelle, who's going to talk to you a little bit about our poll, because we do want to get a temperature of the room.
Thanks, Danielle. As Danielle mentioned, we like to get a sense each month of where the participants on this call are coming from with some of the applications that we're using. So if you would just take a couple of minutes in the bottom right-hand quadrant of your screen, there should be a polling application, and there are just 3 questions there, and they're also there on the slide. So just go ahead and take a moment to fill those out, and once we have all the results in, we'll come back and try to get a reading on where everyone is and make sure that we're hitting all the right points. So thank you for doing that today.
Great. So why Ning and blogs? Well, the biggest reason is you are in control of your content. On the Ning network, you can express common interests and meet new people around shared ideals and ideas, I'll add there. And on a blog, you can share your thoughts, allowing readers to interact with you by leaving comments. Now, you can leave comments on a Ning on an individual page, but it's a little bit more personalized on your blog based upon what it is that you're blogging about. So, getting started. We'll start off with the Ning. I'm not sure if our poll's ready. Suzanne, should I keep going? Keep going? Okay, great. So, getting started on your Ning. Ning is an online platform for people to create their own social networks. And this online service allows you to create, customize, and share interests across various social networks from common causes, everything from education, music, food, sports, you name it. So think of it as a place to go to create your own website without having to pay to create a website. And you can get as creative as you want on these particular sites. And it's really a great way to get started if you want to do something in the digital space and you want to get out there and test out the waters without having to hire a web designer and really get so involved in it. And we're going to now take you on the setup of a Ning. Now, when you go to the Ning site, it says it takes 30 seconds to set up a page and set up a Ning site. I'm not sure if that's true, Stephanie, but you are going to take us through some of the basics on how to set it up, right?
Yes, I definitely am. Thank you. We're going to advance forward. And so when you go to Ning, ning.com, you'll land on this home page here where it's super simple. It just says create your own Ning network. You enter a name. For example, I just called it my Ning website. Underneath the name is where you want to create a unique address. And when you're creating a Ning account, you want to try to come up with a name that, is easy for other people to remember. So let's move forward. After pressing create on that page, we're going to take you to page 2 where you enter your name, your email address, select the password, and you repeat that, you put the birth date, and then you need to make sure, just to make sure that you're human and not a robot, they ask you to enter those words there, and then you just press sign up. And on the next screen, so after you press sign up, what's going to happen is you're going to get an email where you need to just basically confirm that, yes, you're wanting to create this network, and you'll be on this screen here where you can reaffirm your Ning name. You can say if you want it to be public or private, and you can give yourself a tagline, make it fun and catchy, or if you have a tagline that you always use, that's where you would put it. And then you would describe what kind of community you're creating, and this would be really good for if people are searching around looking for your particular niche where you are, and give it some keywords. So move forward. On this particular screen, the next step is where you're going to design your page, and it's super simple. Like they have these boxes on here underneath the layout on the right-hand side. You can physically just place your cursor over any of those boxes and move them around to however you want to lay your page out. And on the left-hand side, under features, are all the things that you can add to your page. So, for instance, if you wanted to add a forum, some groups, a blog, you just slide those over, and you can put it either in one of those 3 columns. So, and then you press next once you have your layout, and you can always, edit this afterwards, too. So, the final screen here is you just choose a design. They do give you just a basic design, which I'll show you on the next screen. But here you can select, I think they have like maybe 60 different styles that you can choose from. And below the templates, you can actually make it unique with adding your own colors or changing the text font or size. So, and then when you're complete, you just press launch.
And we can go ahead and advance the slides.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah, so what Stephanie was explaining to you, and we call her Ross for short because there's so many Stephanies on the staff, so you may hear me going back and forth between Stephanie and Ross, but it's the same person. What Ross is explaining is if you, for your organization and your service, want to set up your own Ning website. A little later on, we're going to talk about one of the Nings that we hope that you will join and will help you in your service. But also what we're going to talk about is just how to set up your own page. Say you don't want to get this involved and do a whole website, you can simply join other Ning organizations and set up a page. And we will share that with you a little later on. We can go ahead and advance the slide. And maybe now, we can talk about the pool. Go ahead.
Oh, Danielle, I wanted to go back to that one last slide real quick and just show when you press launch, this would be the landing page. So you can see where, like, the mining website, you've got your banner, and then you have the layout that you selected, and you can edit these boxes and add content within there. So just wanted to make sure we covered that, too.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we can go ahead and advance. And Suzanne, the results of the poll, are they in?
Yep, they're in. They're available. It looks like 32% of you are in a Ning network, whereas 62% of you are not. And 50% of you have a blog, and 44% don't. And it looks like the way that you're using Ning and blogs the most is to share ideas and stories, but also to promote your projects, and that's it.
Great, I like those numbers. They're better than I had anticipated, so that's great. We will hope that for those of you who are in that 32% and 50 percentile that you'll help us a little later on during the Q&A and throughout. If you'd like to share some information, please do let us know. Now Michelle's going to introduce you to our guest.
Thanks, Danielle. Thanks, Suzanne. Yes, we are fortunate enough to have some pros with us today. We've got Paul Best, who's a Vista alum with the Starfish Initiative. Hi, Paul.
Paul, are you there?
Oh, he's probably on.
I'm sorry. How are you doing?
Sorry about that. And we also have Michael Ewing, Communications and Outreach Coordinator at the Volunteer Center for Northwest Suburban Chicago. Thanks for being with us, Michael.
Hey, no problem. Glad to be here.
And I will turn it back to Danielle.
So, Paul, you're up first. We can go ahead and advance the slide. Paul, give us your title and where you're serving, please. Paul, are you there?
Hello?
Paul, is your line muted?
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you. There we go.
Okay.
You're
As a Vista, I was Information Technology Associate, and after my year of service, they offered me a position, and I'm currently the Scholar of Services Associate.
We love to hear that. We love to hear you getting positions after your service.
Yes, that was a big thing.
So I know that you've actually got a couple of blogs going, and one of them you started on your own. Can you just tell me why you decided to start a Ning from scratch? What was the reasoning behind it?
Well, Starfish, they needed a new way to get in touch with their students, and they were used to snail mail, phone calls, and letters, and so they were looking for a new social media was a new way for them to get in touch with their students, a way that the students could relate. And so when I actually came on to Starfish, they were already in the grassroots of starting a Ning page, but they were still designing, and they had not yet launched it. So once they launched it, I took over as the moderator, and my big project was actually getting the students to join.
And there are actually two pages, and you guys will see those two screenshots side by side. Why two?
Well, because we have kind of two different groups in our organization. We have the group of students that we call scholars, and they're high school students, and we have their mentors. And so we wanted our mentors get to know each other, because so many times within our organization it's just the scholar and the mentor and their relationship. and they rarely get a chance to actually meet other scholars and meet other mentors. So we felt this would be a great way to foster community among the scholars and among the other mentors.
And I really like that because the most important thing I think you said that I heard was this gives them an opportunity to use this Ning site to come together as a community, the mentors to get to know each other, and then the students have a place to come together and get to know each other.
Right.
And so what do you think the benefit, and we're going to go over to his pages live in just a bit so that you can see them. But before we move on, what's the benefit of using a Ning for Vista? Oh.
For Vista?
Yeah.
I believe it's a great way to meet other Vistas. If you started a Ning page, to meet fellow Vistas who are possibly doing similar projects, or for you to kind of get ideas or possibly meet up. I've learned as a Vista, the more you hang around them, the more inspired you get, the more ideas you have, and you go back to your project and use those ideas that you never thought of that someone else had been doing.
I love that. Okay, we can go ahead and advance the slide. And this is the Starfish Mentors online landing page, online community. And we're going to give rights over to you, Paul, and you're going to take us on a little bit of a tour here. And by the way, I love this design, that banner design.
Thank you. Okay. Can you see me?
We see your desktop.
Oh, all right. There we go.
There you go.
All right.
You are in control, Paul.
Okay, so actually this is the most recent one I made about 6 months ago. And as you can see, these are the mentors. They're all slowly but surely they're joining. We have on the side, there's currently any events, but a lot of times there's events that go on in Indianapolis that will be great opportunities for scholars and their mentors to attend. So a lot of times we'll post those as a chance for them to check it out and possibly take their students. One thing I have learned with social media, especially with Ning, even though you make the page, the work comes in is when you actually get people to join. And for the mentors, it can be a slow process. So one thing I say to anybody who wants to start one, you have to be patient and just write it out, keep on promoting the site, giving the links, telling them to sign up. So eventually you'll get your numbers and you'll get the full benefit of having the Ning page.
Now, do you find that the students in your other Ning, are they more apt to use, I see you have an area where people can set up their page and share photos and videos. Are the students more likely to do some of that sharing than the mentors?
Yes, as you can see here, I remember last summer, within a week of me having the students sign, they were just throwing pictures up everywhere, as you can see. Down at the bottom, they were posting videos of different things that they were doing over the summer. I believe the students are more apt to engage because a lot of times they know more about it than the mentors. I mean, our mentors range from 23 to 73, so some of them know how to use social media and technology, and some are kind of slow. But our students, I believe, are really apt to using it. They get the full advantage, and a lot of these students, they connect because these students, even though they're in the city, they're students that they probably never would have met outside of Starfish Initiative. So it's a great way to foster relationships. So when we do have an event in Starfish and they meet in person, it's like, oh, hey, thanks for sending me the message, or I like your new pictures and things like that. So originally was designed for our students, so that, of course they are getting the bigger benefit. I'm up to 153 students, which is over 50%. So it took me about 4 or 5 months to get that.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Paul. If you haven't already, please mute your line, not you, Paul, obviously, by hitting *6, because whoever's talking to someone in your office, we can hear you. Thanks.
And so the great thing I like about Ning, you can add your personal, kind of your own personal. This is my page on the web, on the actual Ning page. And every student has different layouts and background things. So even though there's a format, I like how Ning lets you be versatile and add your own personal touch to it.
And I liked one of the things that you said, that although some of the mentors or some people who are not necessarily technologically savvy aren't coming over to the page, that you send them links and you keep encouraging them and you don't give up.
Yes. And also people should know that the work of moderating, making sure with our students we have to say, appropriate photos, appropriate language, things like that.
That's
so Ning, you can't believe that once you start it, it'll just take care of itself. You have to, I would say, at least once a week maintain it, depending on your organization and what your goal is for starting it.
That's great. Yeah, don't just set your name up and then walk away. You have to moderate. That's wonderful advice. Okay, we're going to take right back now from you, and we are going to talk to Michael about, we're going to move on now and talk a little bit about blogs. Now, everything that we're talking about right now is how to share information, how to communicate, how to get in touch with the community, and one of the ways to do that is through blogs. And Michael, you're representing 2 blogs today as well. Can you just go ahead and tell us your title and where you are serving right now?
Yeah, sure. My title is Communications and Outreach Coordinator, and I'm working here at the Volunteer Center of Northwest Suburban Chicago. Basically, we provide capacity building sort of services for area nonprofits and also connect individual volunteers with opportunities in the community. So
that's great. And tell us about, there are 2 blogs that we're going to talk about today. And the first one is the Volunteer Center blog. So you told us what your mission was. How does your blog help you in that mission?
sure. Well, a lot of what we've been trying to do is find ways that we can better serve our core customers, which are really the agencies that we work with. And so a part of what I'm trying to do with the blog is provide more resources, especially when it comes to social media type stuff, since that's where my strengths are, but also sort of capitalizing on a lot of content that we already produce that we don't necessarily share as much. Like, for instance, we have a newsletter, but not necessarily everyone is signed up for it. So some of the things I like to do is, maybe feature a story from the newsletter and have a link to it. So it's also a great way to sort of invite people in to comment and maybe hopefully develop some conversations about issues that everyone's facing. Because, a lot of times everything we face day to day here internally are things that other people have similar experiences with. So.
Right, and I love the fact that the blog allows you to be able to communicate common missions and goals. So I'm really impressed with the way you all are using it. But even more impressive is the fact that you started a internal, if you will, blog on Prosperous. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And then we're going to have you take us on a tour of both of those blogs.
Yeah, so what I found with working with the staff here, like part of what I want to do for my capacity building as a Vista is to have this set up where they don't have to have a Vista here to maintain their social media presence. But part of what I found was that there's sort of high barriers to entry, even with blogs or with Twitter for people who aren't really familiar or comfortable as I am. They didn't grow up with Facebook like I did. So the cool thing about Posterous is it's a totally email-driven blog site. So essentially what that means is, you compose an email and you send it, and that gets posted to the blog automatically. So that means people don't have to have multiple usernames and passwords. There's no complicated code or interface to deal with. And hopefully you can get people engaged that way.
Okay, I think it's going to become a lot clearer for people when you take a tour for us, but
Right.
I love the idea of that. It's just so simplistic and wonderful and easy to use, and I just
Right.
absolutely think it's a fantastic tool that, by the way, I didn't know about. So thank you, Michael, for teaching me a thing or two. I appreciate that.
That's great.
So first we're going to give you rights, and we're going to go on over to the Volunteer Info blog, and I love this banner, Compassion Takes Action, so we're going to give you rights. And
Sure.
then you just have to share your desktop with us. There we go.
You can see it now?
We can see it.
Okay, great. So this is the main blog that I put together that we talked about before. We're calling it Compassion Takes Action. That's actually our new tagline that we came up with. So what I'm trying to do here is, like I said, feature a lot of the content that we're already producing internally and sort of invite people in to comment on it. One thing we do, like this top post right here, is we have workshops that we do here, and they can be up to 25 people, but there's a lot more people in our community that we serve who can't necessarily make that. So one thing I'm trying to do here is capitalize on that thing that's already going on here and sort of share the main bullet points from that. I'm also trying to get the rest of the staff involved, and also some of our skilled volunteers that work with us. I think if I scroll down here a little bit, so this is one post done by another Vista that we have here on site. She maintains our newsletter. So what I did is I took, one of the stories that I thought would be really worth sharing and put it here on our blog and encouraged her to post it and create her own username and everything, and do that. And then we also had, let's scroll down a little bit farther. Bear with me here.
I
Down
love
here.
that you have social media policies up there. I know you're scrolling past it, but that's important, and I really like that you have that on your blog.
Yeah, I thought it was a good topic for conversation, especially with, a lot of what we do is, training about social media and kind of encouraging our agencies to have an upfront policy But this post that you see right here was actually done by one of our skilled volunteers who, came in to help us out with some of our marketing communications type things. And, this is great because, for one, it provides a good resource for volunteers out there and people who maybe are, searching the internet looking for a little inspiration while they're in between jobs. But for us, it's also adding some transparency and kind of giving people a glimpse into what's going on here day to day.
A transparency word. Can you scroll up for me? I just want to show people on the right-hand side a couple of things, and one of them is your use of tags and how important it is to have identifiable tags.
Right.
I think that's really important, and also that you fed your Flickr photos. So you're using WordPress, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but it allows you to almost set your blog up like a website, which is one of the beauties of WordPress. But there are your tags, your archives, your Flickr photos. And
got our Twitter here, too.
Your Twitter feed, and you
this
have various
right
offers.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great idea. People don't have to get bogged down with having to keep up the blog all by themselves. You can ask other people in your organization to be contributors to the blog so that there's not one single person who has to have the responsibility for the content. So I think that's a great use of the blog and the fact that you got other people to help contribute to write to it.
Well, that's the goal. I mean, ultimately, anything we do is this has to be sustainable. So that's what I'm trying to do. So maybe should I go over to the other one now?
Yeah, let's go over to the other one.
Okay, so...
This very impressive one.
Okay. So this is Posterous. And so, again, like I said before, the way it works is you send an... How about I do a demonstration right now? I prepared this earlier.
Okay.
So all you have to do is compose an email. And email is great because it's something, everyone here on staff is familiar with at this point. And it's not like people don't have to have, like I said, a whole other username to deal with. They don't have to worry about dealing with HTML coding or anything. It's just, once you have the blog set up, all you have to do is say post at whatever the name of your blog is, and then just click send, and we'll send this, and hopefully it'll get posted in just a little bit. But while that's happening, maybe I can take you in and show you a little bit more about how this actually works. So again, some of the features that I really love about this, you can set people as contributors, and we're all kind of familiar with that. But the great thing about this is you don't have to have people sign up for new usernames. All you have to do is put in their email address. So this is actually a lot of the people we have on staff here who I've talked about and have expressed an interest in contributing. So all you have to do in this through Posterous is go there and put in their email address, and automatically, if they send an email to the blog, it gets posted. The other great thing is that you can set people up as subscribers, which for us, one thing we're trying to do with this blog is really encourage internal communication about, what we've got going on here. For me, it's about what blog posts I'm doing, what kind of social media stuff I'm doing. So if you set up all your staff as subscribers, they get a daily digest about the latest posts that have happened. Third,
looking on the other side,
sure.
It also has auto posts.
Yeah, I was just about to get to that. Yeah,
that's impressive.
That's really cool. So if you set this up to connect it, say, with your Flickr account, if you include a photo anywhere in the email, it'll automatically get added to your Flickr. Same thing for YouTube or Picasa, or even with your regular blog, not to mention your Facebook and Twitter. So those features, the auto post isn't as customizable as I'd like, but I mean, it's a really great way to, like, for instance, get people used to posting to Twitter. If I can have them send an email to this and then have that automatically get posted to Twitter, it's like, well, they understand what tweeting is. They're actively doing it. So let's see if we go back here. And there you see, that's the email that I sent just 2 seconds ago. It gets posted automatically to the blog. It's something intuitive that people already know how to use, and, all the links get done in there. If you send multiple pictures, it sets up a little gallery. So it's probably the most easy, straightforward way that I've found. It's kind of like training wheels for social media.
I love it. We're going to take the right spot, but before we do, thank you for putting the vistacampus.org in the body of your blog.
Oh, of course.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Okay. We're going to take right back now.
All right.
And so we reviewed some of the things that we went over about blogs. So we can go ahead and advance the slide. Yeah, blogs are a publishing tool that allow you for easy sharing of thoughts, text, photos, and video. And the Ning network are sites that allow you to create and or join various networks that you may be connected with via a common interest or mission. So they are around the same goal, but they are two different things. And we are going to talk a little bit about now diving a little further into the Ning. We can go ahead and advance this slide. And we're going to talk about joining a Ning, and in addition to that, setting up a Ning. So Ross is back with Jack, and she's going to talk to us about the Service Connection Ning. And before we get started, can you just tell me a little bit about the Service Connection Ning? Ross, why was that started? Why was it developed?
Sure. Well, we originally created Service Connection. It originally was for MLK Day people that we wanted to create an online community where they could share volunteer ideas, talk about any kind of questions they had, just basically have an area that you could build community and connect with people across in their local communities, in their states, and actually across the nation. And it's expanded actually to any type of volunteer and service organizations across the country. So we've opened it up to just the service industry. I'm going to show my desktop here, and I will show you. Currently, we have over 350 members, and they include some VISTA members, some AmeriCorps members, MLK Day, city representatives, lots of nonprofits, and we have here, everybody can see this, correct, right?
Yeah, we can see it.
Perfect.
Can anybody join, Steph? Can anybody join Service Connection?
Great. Well, sounds like we have a good audience.
Ross, can anybody join Service Connection?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I thought she was asking a question. Yes, anybody can join Service Connection, definitely. I would like to encourage everyone, actually, to join the community, join your state, territory area, get involved in the forum discussions, and be sure to invite others to get involved as well. Just as previously was mentioned, when building an online community on Ning, you've got to be patient and just keep talking to people, keep spreading the links out there. So please definitely go and get involved and share your success stories and ask any questions that you have about volunteer and service. Okay, so I'm going to walk you around our homepage here and how we have it set up. Up here at the very top, we've created, this is just a banner, but it's an image that we created that we wanted to share with what's happening. This welcome box here is actually a text box that when you're creating your page, you can add text boxes, and we just added text and HTML links. This featured United We Serve area is it's a YouTube video. This is actually promoted on the serve.gov website. This is what we're featuring this week, and each week we change this area out to keep it current. So when somebody comes to the page, they can easily see what's happening and what's new. Below here, we have, this is the forum area, and these are the general forum questions. Now, anybody who joins Ning can actually start a discussion, participate, comment, add, just engage with the members here. So this has been a great place, and you can actually, when you join your state territory group, within each group, you can also have your own discussion within that area. So those are also helpful. As we scroll down the page here, we've got groups. We have multiple different types of groups. We have every state and territory. We have MLK Day grantees and also this Blueprint for Change group, which is for cities. And if you would like to start your own community group, you can actually create your own just by going to the groups page, or just send us an email, and we're happy to help you get set up and walk you through it. And let's see, this box over here, the Cities of Service, is another text box, and I'll just click on this to show you. Now, this is just some basic HTML that we did, but it basically includes links, and we added some images and created that. And the Days of Service box over here is actually also a text box as well. And we, in every week when we update the site, if there's a days of service coming up, we'll announce it, and we'll keep everybody posted with what's happening throughout the year for service. Down here on the photos, you can hook up your Flickr account and pull in your images, which creates a great slideshow. And they also show up under this multimedia photos area here. And you can add videos as well. So everything is, movable. You can move things around. If you wanted to have the welcome box here in the middle, you can easily do that. And so I think that's what's so valuable about creating Ning is you don't have to be a web expert. It's super simple just to move things around and add new content. So that's basically how you set up the home page. You can also create your own My Page. So every member who every member who signs up on Ning they get their own My Page. And Danielle, did you have anything you wanted to add to this homepage?
Well, no, I just wanted to go ahead and show them your page, and just to say that what Stephanie is walking you through is if you were the administrator and you were starting a Ning site. And now, if you're not starting a Ning site, but say, and we hope that you do, that you can pay your service connection online Ning, that you would get your own page. And it would come up with a little tab, just like that says My Page. And now Stephanie's going to drive us around her page and let you know what you can do with your page to make it very personal for you.